Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to give you my 3-month game plan for Zebec. Now, I want to make it clear to all of you, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing that you see in this video is financial advice. So always make sure to do your own independent research. With that being said, let's get straight into the video. Now, I'm sure you've all being impacted by the recent Black Swan event that that took place in the market, where we saw the biggest single day market sell-off in crypto history. Over $19 billion wiped away from the market. Now, Zebec has actually performed extremely well during this sell-off. Let's explain why. Zebec only sold off at its low 27% when the market sold off. Now, this is incredible because projects like Cardano, a top 10 market cap project, was down over 60% at its peak. We also saw other projects in the top 10 sell off more than 40-50%. The fact that Zebec only sold off by 27% speaks volumes, and that's one of the reasons why I've decided to double down on this project, but with a twist. Now, let me walk you through what I'm planning to do. Now, as you all know, I'm already going to be a long-term holder of Zebec, but the good news to all of you, and this is an exclusive, at the peak, so once Zebec peaked, I was planning to sell close to 90% of my Zebec position and then buying at the low. I've actually decided to change that from 90% to 70%. Yes, I feel confident enough to leave 30% of my holdings on Zebec even when the market peaks, because I don't think we're going to see, an 80 or 90% sell-off anymore. I actually think we will likely only sell off by 50%, maybe even 40%, but we'll have to wait and see. So that's just an update on that. But here's my game plan. So as it stands, we're still in the accumulation zone. For those of you that have been buying at the lows, congratulations. If you missed out on my free buy calls, it means you're not subscribed to the channel. Make sure you subscribe right now so you don't miss out on another Zebec update. But this is essentially an accumulation zone, and we've been in this accumulation zone since May, right? Since July, since August, since September, and now October, we are still in this accumulation zone. And that's where the market's just essentially just ranging, right? It's not making a clear break to the downside, so we're not clearing our July lows, and at the same time, we're not breaking above our May highs, right? So this is the area that one wants to accumulation. Now, I'm personally, almost maxed out on my Zebec position. I may add another entry point. I'm still, waiting for the overall market to give a clearer sign that we're going to see an immediate breakout before I do this. Because remember, guys, the market is still recovering from that big sell-off that we experienced, all right? So we do have to be very cautious. And if we can buy Zebec, close to its July lows again, or that would be the most ideal situation. So we're going to be waiting to see, and then we're going to execute on this. But once I complete my final buy position, I'm anticipating Zebec to hit our anticipated targets. Now, I gave out a few targets. I gave one at 0.00703343 and also 0.00115351. And these are just short-term targets. These aren't massive targets. This is nothing that, to really, celebrate about. First target is 78%. The second target is 185%. Now, I actually think we're going to go way beyond this area and move into price discovery mode. And I think we're going to see mass adoption of Zebec over the next few months. And that's why the first thing I'm doing is making sure I have a large enough bag for me to feel comfortable for the long term. The last thing I want to do is wait for Zebec to peak. Maybe, it's currently at 371%. $371 million market cap. The last thing I want is for this to hit, $1 billion or $2 billion market cap, and then I'm rushing to buy more. So the first thing I'm making sure that I'm doing at the start of this 3-month game plan is making sure I have enough and whatever I personally feel comfortable with. I'm not over leveraging, I'm not buying more than I can afford. I'm just making sure I'm stacked enough that it makes a difference when the market goes to the moon, and I don't have the FOMO or urge to buy more when the market pumps, right? Now, the second thing I'm going to do is I'm not going to take profit early. I think the biggest mistake that a lot of people are going to make in this in this community is a lot of people, I believe, will take profit early, and I cannot blame some people. I mean, if you've been buying from the April lows, guess what? Even to our second short-term target, that's almost a 15x. $1,000 makes you over $15,000. For a lot of people, that is going to be life-changing depending on how much you bought at the low. So I am expecting small profit taking to occur. But me personally, I'm not going to give in to this. I like the way Zebec has performed during this Black Swan event, which speaks volumes to me about this project for the long term and increases my confidence overall. So I'm not actually going to be taking profit on Zebec over this period. Now, this is a target we all need to keep an eye on. Now once we complete the first initial stages of our 3-month strategy, which is, pretty simple, accumulate more, make sure we don't cash out at these early stages, I'm going to wait for Zebec to hit the big number, right? And that's at 0.0281479, right? This is one of my next I'm going to say midterm target, which is a 6x from where we currently are now. Now, this would be the big one, right? Zebec would now be over a $1 billion market cap, well over a $1 billion market cap, where, we're entering the period where everybody's going to start talking about Zebec. Zebec will likely move from 136 to probably the top 100. In my personal opinion, I think it will become a top 100 coin, which means it will be on everybody's radar. Now, this is the area where I was personally looking to take out some profits on my Zebec position, but I've actually revised that, right? Because depending on how quickly it takes to hit this target will speak volumes to me. So for example, if we hit this target by the middle of November, I'm probably going to hold on to my next major target. And if you want access to that, again, make sure you're subscribed, make sure you stay up to date with all my updates, and I'll check out the links in my description, right? But ultimately, the longer term target is what I'll be aiming for if we can hit this by the middle of November. Now, if we're nowhere near this by the middle of November, right, and we're going into December and we're just about approaching this area, then yes, I am going to take some profits off the table because it indicates we'll see another market correction, right? And I want to make sure that I don't have any, I can take profits, wait for price to dip, and then just accumulate again at the lows, right? So I don't just want to see my profits, dwindle or go down significantly in value when I can just take profit and then just buying at the lows, similar to what's actually happening now, right? So I will be keeping an eye on this target. If we can hit this target by, November, that will be the sweet spot. As long as we, there's still momentum in the market, I'll have to look at the macro data, Bitcoin and other factors. I will be planning to hold this on for even longer. Remember, a 10x from where we currently are now, which I think would be a sweet spot target for everybody here. The market cap value for Zebec would only be $3.7 billion market cap. The fully diluted market cap value would be about $4 billion. I personally believe this is a fair value for Zebec, and ultimately that's the area where I would or could potentially be looking at that 70% profit taking opportunity. But we'll talk about that when the time comes. I think the main focus for the next 3 months is just ensuring, number one, we have a decent bag, right? Because once again, what will end up happening is Zebec will go to the moon and everybody's going to be in the comment section saying, wow, price has just gone up by 200%. Should I start buying more? Again, fatal mistake in my personal opinion. I don't want to be in that position. So that's why I'm going to make sure I've got a decent bag now. Number two, I'm making sure I'm not taking profits too early. I like the way Zebec has performed. It's almost proven to me that it is a solid project for the long term, at least the way it's performed so far. I like this, so I'm not going to be in a rush to pull or extract my profits out the market. I do want to see what Zebec can do. And then last but not least, of course, I am going to be looking at exiting my position at some point so I can watch the price go down, we'll find a new bottom, and then I'll look to re-enter. But I will have at least 30% of my position running for the next 2 to 4 years just to see how Zebec performs, because I do have the hunch that this has the potential to be the next XRP, the next hedera, or even bigger, right? We're going to have to wait and see. But that's my 3 months game plan. Very simple, very straightforward. I will be updating on strategy and if anything changes on this channel. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss another update. Until next update, guys, seize the day.